The D&C Santa Brought by Meredyth Willits. The body knows more than we ever will. It knows when we are sick, days, months, and even years before we suspect or even have a symptom. It sends in its warriors to combat illness, turns down the temperature, and tells us that now it's not the time for another baby. When I couldn't bring Cody home from the hospital when he was sick, when I, quote, did it wrong, I began the quest to do it right and have a healthy baby as soon as possible. We found out we were pregnant November 1996. Cody was 2.5 months old. Cody and the new baby, Irish twins. I was in the hospital visiting Cody. He was doing another stint in the ICU, and I began to not feel well, so I called my OBGYN. He told me to go down to the ER and have them take a look at me. My husband and I went to the front desk in the ER, and as this woman began to ask me ridiculous and rude questions, I got myself more and more upset, and down I went. Right there in the ER at Metro Hospital, I passed out cold. The ER did an ultrasound and of course wouldn't tell me anything. She said I would be okay and to see my OBGYN on Monday. They would send the results to my doctor. My OBGYN informed me that I had lost the baby and that it would be best to do a D&C, take the baby out. I couldn't believe it. Are you kidding me? I'm 24 years old. Why am I broken? Why is my first baby sick and my second baby gone? Why can't I make a baby that isn't sick, isn't dead, isn't broken like me? Why me? I did it wrong again. Again, I wouldn't be bringing a baby home. How could this be happening? The OB office called and scheduled the surgery. To put the cherry on top, they scheduled it for Christmas Eve morning. I was sick as a dog by this point. My body was beside itself trying to cope with the death inside of me. I was seeing yellow spots. I was blacking out. I was really sick. I could barely get down the steps to go to the hospital that morning. When it was all over, I went home and physically felt 100% better. My body was okay now. I was sad, but my body knew it wasn't time to have another baby, no matter what I thought I wanted. We had genetic testing done to see if there was any genetic problems, and there weren't. I was home alone when they called. They called to tell me the results of the tests, and they asked if I wanted to know the sex of the baby. It was like in the movies when the director makes the camera jump away and back until the person is so small you can't see them anymore. That was me, small, broken, and alone on that couch. If I told her I wanted to know, then my baby became a person. It was a sex. It wasn't a blob. It wasn't just gone. If I said no, I would wonder forever. I said yes, and she said a boy. I hung up. I sobbed, I screamed, I cried, and I fed Cody through a tube in his stomach with his pulse ox machine and medicines and blue food coloring and oxygen in the next room. Kill me now. I named him Jacob. Cody spent the next 2.5 years in and out of the hospital. It would have been a complete disaster having another baby, and God, my body just knew it. I had another miscarriage on my 25th birthday. No doctors, no hospitals, no names. Just a plain old miscarriage. I cried over that one too. Wisdom comes once the emotion and the experience is over. You can see clearly when the want leaves and the clarity moves in. I never forget them. You aren't allowed to. Every time you go to the gynecologist, have a baby, anything, they ask you, how many children? How many pregnancies? And you have to tell them. I have to remember the time when I felt broken, when I felt incapable. Now I know I wasn't broken or incapable. I was perfect. My body was handling everything. My body was taking over when I couldn't. I never want to say that anyone else's experience with loss, inability, or anything is like mine. This is my experience. This is how it worked out for me. This is my clarity, my rationalization, my situation. I had to have someone watch Cody that morning when I went to the hospital. When I came home that afternoon, we exchanged Christmas presents. They got me a maternity dress. They actually gave me A maternity dress. They told me I could keep it for the next one. I will assume they meant the next baby, not the next miscarriage. They could have said, "Hey, look, what I got you isn't appropriate, so I owe you something else," or "Here's $10, get yourself a little something," or "I hate you more than life itself and I wish you were dead," but instead, they gave me a maternity dress. The day, a few hours after I had my baby removed from my body. I chalk it up to experience, character-building exercises, a good story, a day in the life of. It's what it is. It's a journey like everything. You build, you grow, you learn and understand, and sometimes your body and God know better, and sometimes you just keep the inappropriate gift in the car.